Welcome to Cart Rides with Micah. I am in Helsinki with Janne Lehto, the golf course superintendent at Hirsala Golf. Welcome to the show, Janne.
Hi, thank you.
Shall we go for a ride and talk about some turf and equipment?
Absolutely. Let's go.
All right, let's go.
Rainy Helsinki here in the background. So.
Yeah, it's exactly. How many years have you been a golf course superintendent?
I've been a course superintendent for 7 years now. All of the same course at Hirsala Golf in Finland.
And it was very interesting. We were having dinner last night and you mentioned Automowers, which are those electric small mowers, the robotic ones. And then I said, wait a second, how many fairways do you do with them? And then you said?
We do all the fairways and about 75% of our rough at the moment, and the plan is to do all of them over the next, let's say, couple of years.
Okay, so let's talk about the fairways specifically.
Mm-hmm.
How many of those machines are required for all of the fairways?
Okay, so we have some of the mowers we have, they're kind of like old-fashioned robotics, like the first generation. So we require quite a few of them, so it's 18. But if you would go with today's mowers, that would be close to 10. What do you need?
And these are the Husqvarna brand?
Yeah, we have Husqvarna and we have one demo of Crest Robotics as well. So just kind of combining what works best for us.
And so that's in the fairways. And what's your mowing height?
Yeah, we try to keep it at 13 mils now. We used to have 10 to 12 mils on a traditional reel mower, depending on the time of the year. But that would be mowing twice a week, so we don't have any more stuff. All the labor is really expensive in Finland and all the Scandinavia actually. So we mow twice a week. So if you mow on, let's say, Monday, it would be 12 mils on that day, and then obviously go up to 20 mils or something like that until Thursday. So we're looking at 13 mils to be pretty sweet spot because they maintaining it at 13 mils every day.
And you didn't switch over all at once. You did a test first, and then you've been selling the reel mowers and using those funds to purchase new Automowers. Is that correct?
Yeah, if I go the long story, Hirsala Golf, we kind of brand ourselves to be environmentally sustainable. I want to be leaders in that side of the golf course management, and also on top of that we want to kind of adapt to new changes and new technologies. Anything that comes up, we want to be fast on that, so we're always on the front foot on anything that comes in the market. Obviously there's risks on that, so you might make a mistake or anything like that, but we try to learn out of that. So when we started 5 years ago, robotics was only for the let's say yards and lawns and these kind of places. But we saw there might be an opportunity to extend it to the golf course. So we started with a couple demo machines and we liked it. So we've been moving on bit by bit on the course, and obviously we've been funding it a bit with sales of conventional mowers. So we had a full fleet of rough mowers and fairway mowers. But in today's market, the fairway mowers has been quite expensive, and we've been able to get good money out of that and invest into the new technologies and new robotics.
What's the turf quality, the playing quality with this different type of mowing?
On fairways, we're really similar to the traditional mowers. So I would say the only difference would be you're not getting any patterns or these kind of things, and it's been a good discussion point if we're making the patterns for the golfers or if we're making the patterns for the greenkeepers. It kind of depends from the point of view where you watch it. Obviously, if you do a massive tournament for TV, you might want to show it off a bit more. But what we're finding out from our golfers, they don't really realize if it's pattern or not on a fairway. And in the roughs, we used to mow them once a week. So the mowers or the Automowers, they're mowing every day. So obviously there the quality is quite a big leap forward. So we're seeing a huge step on the quality as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna phrase that. I'm gonna repeat that the way I understand it, and then please tell me if I understood correctly.
Yeah.
On the fairways, you think the quality is about the same. However, if somebody wanted to have a striping pattern on the fairways, it would be difficult to do with the current generation of Automowers, although you don't really think that that's an issue on your property. And in the rough, you think that because of the increased frequency of mowing, the quality and consistency of the rough is much improved over what it was when you were just cutting once a week.
That's right. And like I mentioned to you earlier, we still have those first generation robotics, which are kind of mowing in a chaotic pattern, how they call it. But the new mowers that are coming in the market, and we already have a couple of them, they're GPS mowers. So they do a pattern, but it's a different pattern. It's more like a hand mowed pattern at the moment. So you'd be hand mowing your fairways, which is obviously not possible. So then it comes to like on the point where the viewer or the person watching it kind of decides if it's good or not.
Have you noticed anything in terms of water use or disease pressure or weeds or anything that's different or not yet?
Yeah, well, we actually been part of the turf trials, so the Scandinavian Turf and Environment Research Foundation, over 3 years, and seen the turf quality and comparing to the traditional mowers, and also looking at water usage, fertilizer usage, disease pressure, weed pressure, all these kind of things. And on disease pressure, I can pretty much say it's getting down, and that's because of the mowers are mowing every day and they're removing dew from the turf. It's not removing the dew from all over the fairway because it's only doing a small bit of the fairway at a time. But if I look at it, you still get less hours of leaf wetness with the robots than with the traditional mowers, which might be mowing twice a week. So yeah, that's what we're seeing. On the water usage, not so much. Fertilizers, it could be a minor change because the clippings would be smaller and hopefully kind of decomposing faster. So that could be an option, that the nutrients mineralize faster for the use of the turf. But we're not seeing like 100% results where we can say a number to that. Compaction would be a massive thing for me. Obviously, like looking at the weather today, let's say in the autumn when we have to mow the fairway still, when we still have the growth, going with a heavy machine, you always are causing some compaction. But now with the lightweight mowers, we're not really doing that on the fairways, and you can see the turf is doing much better and the drainage is working much better.
And what about the hours of operation? You mentioned it's reducing the leaf wetness, so it can operate at night because it's just going by its random pattern right now. And how about during the day when there's golfers on the course? Is it still cutting during the day too? Is it 24 hours operation, or how does that work?
Yeah, for us it's 24/7, and we scaled it so that we take the maximum out of the mower, out of the unit, and that comes into the investment price as well. But if you wanted to, you could overscale the fleet and work it overnight and only do everything by like 8 hours. So obviously one mower then mows a smaller area, but you could do that.
Right, yeah, then it would just be parked during the day.
Yeah.
But you cut, or those machines cut, they've got little razor blades on them, and those must wear out. How often do you have to change those?
Yeah, we change the blades every 2 weeks. So we tried something like 3 weeks as well, but we've seen they either wear out or they start to get some sugars building up onto the blade. So it's not really that sharp anymore. But so far they've been really cheap for us compared to grinding and these kind of things we don't have to do anymore. So yeah, we do that every 2 weeks. Good thing about the blades, when it's the razor blade and you change it every 2 weeks, we used to have to think about when we can top dress the fairways, because then we have to grind the mowers and we have to have the time for that. But now we don't have to think about that at all. So we can go and light dust the fairways whenever we want. So we're not kind of restricted on thinking about all the operations we have to do after top dressing.
And so who operates these machines? Is that something that you handle, or do you have certain staff on certain holes, or how does this work?
Yeah, we have about 10 staff during the season, and half of the staff, let's say it's mainly the younger generation of greenkeepers. They all are educated to operate the machines, but we also have a specialist role, which is robot specialist or golf course automation specialist, which would be really similar to irrigation technician or this kind of role on a golf course. So that's a new role that came up, and we also see that could be one of the answers to some of the labor issues in the industry. So obviously younger generation might be interested in this kind of things like automation and working with the robotics rather than working with a big machinery or tractors or these kind of things. So
there's not many courses in the world that have all the fairways mowed only with Automowers. Do you know how many courses there are that have gone to this level?
I can recall like 5 courses, and we've been working with those courses through the surf trials. So there's at least one in Norway called Berheim. There's at least one in Germany, which is Winston Golf, and Irvin is really early adapter on these kind of things as well. And then there's a couple in Sweden and Denmark as well. But yeah, in Finland we're the only one so far.
Okay, so you're 100% fairways, and 2023 was the first year that you got the final holes done. And the rough, you said 75% now with Automowers. What's your total fleet with the rough also, rough and fairways?
We have 36 units, so it's a total fleet of 36. And we see we're still gonna improve the fleet, so we're gonna get some more efficient machines, and we can probably drop in the numbers as well in the coming years. But that's the current fleet.
Okay. Now, speaking of dropping numbers, you would have put burned a lot of diesel, which has a lot of carbon emissions from using conventional mowers. Now you're all electric.
Yep.
So do you know some of the numerical differences of what you've saved from a sustainability perspective?
Yeah, we used to, let's say in 2018, when we didn't have any robots, we were using about 4,000 liters of diesel in rough and fairway mowing only. And today in 2023 the number was 300 on that 25% of the rough, and obviously sometimes we had to back up some of the fairways if there was a problem with the Automower. But yeah, we dropped it to 110 or 90%, and it's the same on the carbon emissions as well, which is a big thing for our club as well. So think about those things.
Yeah, you've just dropped out, or you've gotten rid of the number one carbon emission aspect of golf course maintenance, which is mowing. So that is really good to hear. Have you shared this? I know you're going to Portugal, I think, to talk about this. So is this something that a lot of people are interested in? Have they been asking you to talk about this topic?
Yes, absolutely. You can see it's a big topic in Finland. It's a big topic in Europe now, and it's kind of gaining momentum all the time. So I'm going to Portugal in about 2 weeks. I'm going to Denmark as well in 2 weeks, and after that I'll be in Czech Republic to talk about this.
Wow, you've got 3 talks coming up just before Christmas?
Yeah,
wow,
that's right.
Awesome. Well, Portugal should be a little bit better weather than this, you hope?
Hopefully looking forward to that.
So if you're operating these, or if these machines are automatically auto mowing 24/7, they must sometimes encounter a person, or like a golf player, or they must sometimes encounter somebody's golf ball in the fairway. And what happens, and is there anything strange related to the play of golf, or irritated customers, or rules issues related to this?
Yeah, that was obviously one thing we wanted to see with the demos as well, to start seeing how the staff kind of sees the robots and how the players as well see the robots. First year we got some feedback of the mowers moving when the golfers are playing golf, but we're not seeing that anymore. All the feedback we're getting from the players is positive, and also the neighbors of the golf course got a couple of spontaneous calls that they're really happy we're not making that much noise anymore.
That's good. I hadn't thought of that. Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
There's often people that live next to golf courses, and the golf course was there first, and so everybody that works in golf course maintenance knows that our equipment makes noise, and we have to do it in the morning. But sometimes they will complain. But to make it quiet like that, that's terrific.
That's good. Yeah, we never had any issues with the neighbors before, because they were expecting us to make some noise. But that was cool to get like a call from them that they're really happy that they notice the difference, that we're not making that noise anymore.
So it doesn't run over. Does it sense a golf ball and not run over it?
It does run over the golf ball, but we were asked about local rules from our club, but it's actually all in the rules of golf. So if the mower runs over the golf ball, that's basically the same as any greenkeeper would run over it, or anything like that. You can replace the ball, and if the mower would harm your golf ball, you can obviously replace that to a new one right away. But the razor blades, they kind of bending when they hit something hard, so they're not really making any scratches or anything like that into the golf ball. And if the mower is running on the middle fairway and you hit your golf ball, like you drive into that, then you obviously continue where it ended up. So that would be the same as hitting a catch basin or a sprinkler. What else? Yeah, that's basically it.
But they sense people, so they don't run into large things.
No.
But the golf ball is so small that the sensor doesn't really realize it's there.
Yeah. So there's like an ultrasound sensors in front of the mowers. So they obviously they slow the speed when they see something in front of them, and if there's a person or something like that, they can just turn around and go the other direction.
Do you have bears on the golf course?
No bears, moose, some kind of wildlife like lynx and these kind of things, but they are mostly overnight. But we have seen nothing. Nothing that would harm the mowers or harm the wildlife.
Right.
We haven't seen any problems with that.
Yeah, it would be scary if you have those expensive mowers out there. They're still cheaper than the conventional mowers, but they cost quite a bit of investment. And then if bears like to throw them in the pond or something, that would be no good.
Yeah, that's right. But yeah, I haven't had any problems like that. Or even with small mammals or anything like that. We haven't seen anything that would cause an issue.
I've heard some people in the United States talk about, we don't want these kind of mowers. It's going to put people out of work. It's going to cost the greenkeepers their jobs. We need these people to, we need our staff to have jobs. Have you laid off anybody or reduced your crew size, or do you just reallocate the labor?
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I think that's a natural reaction to something like this, and it has happened before with computers. Like people were kind of scared they're gonna take over your job. I don't think there's a single course manager in the world that thinks they have too much people and too little things to do. There's always things you can improve your golf course. There's always data you can collect. There's always these kind of things to improve the product that you're selling. So obviously our take on it was, and from the start, it was always the thing that if we can reduce the hours on something, we can always improve our product. So we didn't want to get rid of any of the stuff. So, and actually I think we've increased our stuff since then in the robots because of saving money from somewhere else, like saving fuel, saving on the maintenance costs, these kind of things. So we've been able to afford more stuff to raise our level on the golf course.
That's good. And yeah, you can put in drainage or things instead of just spending time mindlessly mowing.
Yeah, we've been hand watering greens, taking that into the program. We changed to hand mowing at greens and tees, which is raising the quality on those areas for us. So yeah, I'll be really happy with that, and the staff also realized it's going to help in their job as well. So they're not that much in a hurry. They're not mowing in front of the players, it's taking some of those risks away on getting hit by a golf ball. So yeah, a lot of positives.
Yeah, but you're just listing all kinds of positives. We talked about the replacement of the mower blades, and that happens fairly frequently. What about the batteries? How long does the battery last? And could you talk a little bit about how much time the mowers spend charging and how much time they spend out mowing over the course of a day?
Yeah. So any part of those robots that we have is replaceable. So I don't see the lifespan of mower getting into an end by a single spare part or something like that. It would only be probably by run from new technology, so new technology coming in, something better that would see us move those mowers away. Like we're seeing at the moment, because we had the first generation with the boundary wires, and that's obviously an issue that we took as a challenge. But the GPS is better than the boundary wires, and we can see that. So now we're changing the fleet by selling the boundary wires into our customers, into our members, so they like them in their yard, and we can install them for them. And with that money, we can change into the GPS modes on the golf course. So yeah, it's more likely to be replaced by new technologies than by age or something like that. The battery is, I think, the oldest mower, because it was the demo mower that had been running somewhere else for a couple of years before it came to our site. I think that's 8 years old, and we haven't replaced the batteries yet.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's been doing really well, and we haven't seen any problems with that yet. So that's an interesting found. And in our kind of fleet maintenance or management anyway, we would be seeing a traditional mower maybe be changed by after 5 to 6 years. So if we can hit the same kind of moment with the robots when we want to change to new models, we're really happy with that.
And in a day, how much time does it spend charging or mowing?
Yeah, I think there's something like 80 minutes in the charger, and then 240 minutes on the course. Depends on the model what you have, or something like that. An hour in the charger and 2 to 3 hours mowing. So that would be pretty average.
And so you've got chargers all around the course. Each charger has one machine allocated to it?
Yeah.
Or can machines go to different chargers, or they just go to their own charger?
Yeah, at the moment the ones we have, they go into their own charger, which is assigned to the mower. But like the new ones, you could do like a map of chargers where the mowers move around to each one of them. But I think to get started on these kind of things, and why we also wanted to start bit by bit, is the infrastructure on the golf course. If you have the electricity or not, that makes a difference. So we had to extend the electricity going out from the pump house or clubhouse or the maintenance yard, and just building that whole infra on the course, so we have the chargers.
Okay. And your electricity costs must have gone up some.
Actually, yeah, not so much, because at the same time we installed solar panels on the clubhouse roofs, which takes care of all the electricity for this. So we don't have to buy in the electricity, and that's pretty cool.
And yeah, that's cool. That makes me think of something. Today it's rainy, and I don't imagine that you're really needing to mow very much. We just did some seminars over the past couple of days, and I looked up what the growth potential is here. And the growth potential for cool season grass right now is pretty close to zero. So I expect you're not needing to mow so much. But during July or June, the days, it's almost 24 hours of daylight, and the temperatures are relatively warm. So do you have to adjust the mowing times seasonally with these machines to say they're 24/7 in June, but maybe in September you turn down the setting, so sometimes they're just parked?
Yes, absolutely. So we turn down the setting. We start to do that around start of September, when we start to lose the sunlight and the temperatures as well. And that is to kind of not cause too much wear and tear on the grass by the robots. So you don't want them to be going all the time. So, and also saving the mowers as well. But we start to doing gradually at that time, and at the moment it's November, so we already taken the robots out on the course and they go into their winter hibernations.